And one of the biggest notions of file servers is that they provide a place for people to put their stuff onto. And without any kind of control of that, a lot of times users will end up just storing whatever they want onto those file servers without really considering the types of reasons for why that file server exists. A common example of those are down here under file groups, where we have a list of just different kinds of files that are commonly thought of as perhaps not great files to exist on a file server. More often than not, the file server contains Office documents or other artifacts of projects that need to be constrained in one location that people can access. But these other kinds of things, like audio and video files and backup files and executable files and image files, can sometimes be the extraneous kinds of data that you don't want on that machine. For example, let's say that we take a look at our company share here, our company shared location, where we find under Jason's stuff, oh goodness, he's got a bunch of Grateful Dead MP3s that are not only illegal, but are probably dubious in terms of their quality. So if you look through here, we see all these MP3s. We don't want these on our file server. Well, in days gone past, there was not a really good way for us to really inventory the file server and figure out if those files existed and where they were and who they corresponded with. Well, file screening management here provides a way through file groups, also through templates, and then through the file screens themselves, of identifying the files that you don't want by file extension, by determining what you want to do when they appear, and then applying those to the locations that you want to ensure are screened out so that those files don't appear. For any of these files, let's say these audio and video files here, which probably includes the MP3 format down here somewhere. As you can see here, when we create a new file group name, we set up a list of files that we want to include, and then also a set of files that we want to exclude. So if there are certain MP3 files that are important to you, well, then you can exclude them out of this otherwise category. Once you create the file group, then you go backwards here through the file screen template, which provides more of the logic associated with the type of file group that you don't want on that machine. So here the template block audio and video files, which is active, says that when there is an audio and video file here, the file group that we've configured down here, go ahead and actually perform some activity. This is active screening, which is turned on. Do not allow users to save those unauthorized files in the location that we later tag this template to. Or alternatively, just like before, we could use passive screening, where we would allow the users to upload those files, but then send an alert in one or more forms to an administrator to let them know what's going on. Those same alerts can occur in just the same ways that we did before. We can send an email message, so to the administrator or to the user who attempted to save the unauthorized file. We can configure an event log error, so another warning message that appears in the event log. We can also configure a command, same PowerShell, VBScript, or batch file that can execute whenever that person attempts to upload the file. And then also configure the report to generate the report, what's going on the machine, and perhaps email that to an administrator. So all of these, again, very similar to how things worked over in quota management, provide that mechanism to define the rules of what should happen when that file attempts to be uploaded onto this machine. Now, none of this actually does anything until up here at the top, where we actually apply the file screen using the template that we created. When we create that file screen over here, we identify the path. So again, we could set this to our location down here on the E drive for our company shared location. And then we could derive the properties from the file screen template that we created before. The main gist of what I'm trying to show you here is that in all of these cases, it's best to start really at the bottom and work your way up. Doing so allows you to create all the policies that then, like the layers of an onion, fold into each other to ultimately create the file screen you apply to that location.